No sooner had the last one stepped from the basket than our friends were there. We went down to the village and spent the greater part of the day. It was a quaint old place, typical of those mountain districts, with its houses built by digging into the side of the cliff, then closing up the opening with rock walls. There were in all about 20 of these houses. We were told that the houses were built in this manner to keep them from being crushed by the heavy snows in winter. The villagers soon began to gather, and Emil talked to them for a few moments. It was arranged that a meeting should be held the following afternoon, and couriers were sent to notify those of the neighborhood who wished to attend. We were told that John the Baptist had lived at this village and received instruction in the temple, and that the temple remained the same as when John received his instruction there. We were shown where the house had been torn down. That afternoon, when we returned to the temple, the weather had cleared so that we could see a wide expanse of country, and we were shown the trail that John had used in going to and from the temple and the different villages where he lived. The temple was supposed to have been built and the village established more than 6,000 years before John visited there. We were shown the trail we would take when we departed, and were told the trail had been in use since the temple was built. About 5 o'clock that afternoon, our friend of the records said he would leave us for a time. He then shook hands, saying he would see us soon, and disappeared. That evening, we saw the most remarkable sunset from the roof of the temple that I have ever witnessed, and it has been my good fortune to have seen sunsets in nearly all lands. As evening advanced, a light haze was gathering over a low range of mountains that bordered a wide expanse of tablelands which we could look down upon. When the sun reached this rim, we were seemingly so far above it that it appeared as if we were looking directly down upon a sea of molten gold. Then came the afterglow, and every mountain peak appeared to be aflame. Those in the distance that were covered with snow seemed to be blanketed with fire, and where glaciers filled the ravines, it appeared as though they were shooting forth great tongues of fire, and these flames appeared to meet and melt with the different hues in the heavens. The lakes that dotted the plain below were transformed suddenly into volcanoes, belching forth fires which ascended and blended with the colors in the heavens. For one moment it seemed as if we were standing on the brink of a silent inferno. Then all blended into one harmony of color, and the soft, peaceful quiet was beyond description. We sat on the roof until after 12 that night, asking Emil and Jast questions. These questions pertained principally to the people and the history of the great country in general. Emil quoted liberally from their records. These records proved that this country was inhabited thousands of years before our history began. Emil went on to say, quote, "While I do not in any way wish to disparage or make light of your history or of those who wrote it, I will say that at the beginning of this history, the historians did not go back far enough, but took for granted that Egypt meant what the name implied, outer darkness or the wilderness. It really meant a wilderness of thought